My name is Eric Notulu Mubuka. I'm Zambian, but I'm living here in Denmark for 3 years now. I'm here in Denmark with a Danish wife, and we've been married for 2 years now.
Okay.
Well, it was hard in the beginning, but I had to adopt because I have no choice. Yeah, I adapted to the climate. The difference is that in my home country, food is cheap. Here, food is more expensive, and here people are busy all the time. You see? Yeah, people don't have time to relax, and yeah, so life is like from one point to another, and mostly here people are enclosed inside because of the weather. Because people are stressed here in Denmark. The reason is they have to work hard to get the money. But when it comes to peaceful living, I think that's why they are called the happiest country in the world. Because there's peace, you know. And this peace, when every person feels this inner peace, you know, it creates the happiness also. You forget about the hardships and the working hard of many hours. At the end of the day, everything is moving so well. You know, everything is on time. The transport system is on time, you see. So that's why Denmark feels like it's the happiest country, in my own opinion. But I don't know about how others sees it. But I also believe at some point that, yeah, it can be one of the happiest countries because there are no diseases here, you know. I grew up in a rural area, and it was kind of like rough a little bit because we used to go to school, walking distances like maybe from grade 1, maybe a distance of 3 kilometers every morning. You have to wake up and go to school. But basically, you know, as a human being, you know, you have to adapt to environment. So I only feel that it was hard when I compare to the way people live here. See? But that time when I was a kid, I never used to feel it like maybe it is hard. From a town which was like 500 kilometers outside the capital city. Life there was simple because we didn't have to like scramble for transport to go to places of work. You know, it was a small place, and mostly houses were built close to places of work. So people would normally walk. Hi. Yes, please. Oh. Come on. Back. Yeah, so it was easy. Life was easy, but most of the time, also we did a lot of farming because mostly in areas which are outside Lusaka, people depend on farming. Yeah.
This is what you face every morning. You come on the train, there is someone coming bother you, asking for a ticket, right? How it is? How do you find it?
Well, it is his job. But I will not call it bothering because they have to make sure that they maintain the trains also to be moving nicely for us. So we need just to pay in that sense. Yeah, because even back in Africa, we pay for transport.
Have you ever been caught without paying, traveling these trains?
In this Denmark, yes, yeah. I was caught, but it's because I didn't know how to read the language. So I was using a ticket which had already expired. So they forgave me, and they helped me to pay using their system. I don't know what has happened to our countries, but Zambia is in big problems when it comes to economical development. You know, the political situation is not good, in the sense that they are using the few resources which are needed to develop the country for their own benefits, you know, like the people in the system. So, like I'm saying right now, the employees, they have not yet gotten their salaries for March. We are in April now. This is April the 9th. People are still waiting for their salary from last month. That's how the situation is in Zambia. There's rumor everywhere that Zambia owes China a lot of money. So China is taking some of the resources that Zambia uses to like raise funds, like controlling, like for example, the power system, the main power system in Zambia, electricity powering, supplying system. Halfly it's being controlled by the Chinese people and halfly by the Zambian government. Also, the Zambian National Broadcasting Corporation is being sponsored by the Chinese people. But the government has said that's not true. But everybody has seen that. And there are some newspapers, local newspapers now, where they are putting some pages in China to benefit the Chinese people living in Zambia.
So, meaning the Chinese journalists working for these newspapers in Zambia? Or what is
yeah, the Zambian journalists, they are like employing some people who know how to speak Chinese, and then they will interpret some information, okay, like current information, into Chinese and create a page for them so that they can also read the current affairs which are going on in Zambia.
So what do you think about this? What they're doing? They're using Chinese to print in the Zambian newspaper. What do you think about it?
Putting it in Chinese. It's because they've accepted that they need the Chinese. As a country, they've accepted.
Do you think that is correct way to do it?
Because yeah, they need to sell the paper to get the salary. So if they increase the people who are buying the paper, then they're having a salary. Because the local Zambians, they don't have money to be buying a paper on a daily basis. So if they change some of the things in Chinese, more Chinese are there now buying the paper also.
Don't you think that's supposed to be the other way around, where the Chinese should be learn local language where it's printed in order not kind of making the,
I think
local newspaper
it all has to do with is it Western supremacy? Western supremacy, over the Africans, I would put it like that. If you look at the situation whereby Zambia is owing China a lot of money, so what are you gonna do? Imagine if you are owing me billions of money, and then I say, I want to come and take a space of your land. You have too much land which you're not using. What are you gonna do since I owe you money? You say yes. Since you owe me money, I mean. Well, just from long time, African countries have been surviving on the help from the Western countries, So this thing of like begging is something which I don't know when it will end in African communities or in African states. So for now, what I can just say is maybe the future African leaders, they just need to try to be more independent. Yeah. But for now, there's nothing that the Zambia, for example, can do. It owes China billions of money. What can it do? Look, for example, Denmark, right? I've been reading a lot about Denmark. Here in Denmark, they've tried by all means to reduce corruption. But African leaders, they're very corrupt. You see? Yes. They want to be richer even when it's not necessary. You see? They want to have everything. I mean, it's not necessary. Here, there are people who have money here, like for example in Denmark, you still see them live a simple life, They can still go to work on a bicycle. It looks normal, Ministers can just take one car and they share. But in African states, if a minister is having a trip, they have to take 5 cars, spend all the money on fuel. A little bit of exaggeration in the way they just run the country. So those kind of things will not change only when maybe more Africans come to Western countries and learn and adapt to the organization system and apply it there, then it can work.
But what I know that many of these...
For example, if I was given a chance to lead my country, I would really change a lot of things. Yeah. You see, the way the system is, the less educated people are the ones who are on top. The more educated people are the ones who are in the middle. You see how the system goes in Africa. So those people are on top. Sometimes they've got those positions through politics. They're being voted by the people. So it's not because of their degrees, of their knowledge. No, it's because of the way they can control the society with their vocals and their language, like the promises, and then they are voted into power. So, and when they come here in Europe, like for the presidents and the crew, they only stay here maybe for a week. What will they learn in a week? Yeah. And people who have gone to school, they don't have the opportunity to be leaders, you know? Yeah. So this is Roskilde University, and these buildings here, these are student houses. I think some students are living this side and others are living this side. Okay. And the rest, they are back that side. So this place, I like it because it's quite, the conditions are good for learning actually. If you are just a serious student, it's a good place for studies, you know. There is plenty of room, like for studying, for research, and the facilities, they are enough. It is convenient, you know. The library is stocked with books. There's nothing that you cannot find, you know. The internet is so efficient that you don't have to complain about anything anyway, you know. I cannot complain so much. The only thing I can complain about is maybe individual lecturers. You see, there are some lecturers, of course, every person has a career, and there are some people who are good at their career and some people are not good at their career. So maybe some lecturers are not so much good when it comes to giving out knowledge, or it comes to discussions with students. Maybe that's what I can talk about. You know, the approach of learning is a little bit different. See, looking at my past experiences, because I was also at the University of South Africa, so the approach in the learning is very, very different. That's what I can say. But I feel like here you get the best out of it. You need to work extra hard. You need to work extra hard. You know, there's less spoon feeding here. But if there is spoon feeding, maybe for the Danish students, but for us foreigners, I think you don't feel any spoon feeding. You know, you have to research and work hard on your own. How I find Danish language? Yeah. Danish language is what makes most of the people, most foreigners, fail to live in Denmark, because you have to learn the language. 1, to get a good job. 2, for you to communicate well. Also, you don't feel the racism so much when you are good at the language. So when you're not good at the language, you always feel out of place. So some people decide to go back to their countries. But I've discovered that when you know better the language, it's even to find a good job, actually. It's easy to find a good job. Because I will not say Denmark has no jobs. There are more jobs than you wish to have. But they have a policy, you have to learn their language. You see? Which I agree to. Yeah. Yeah. Because most of these, you know, Danish people, I would say, they are not the most well-educated ones. 10% of people have gone to university. So most of these, they are also human beings who want to express themselves freely in a place of work. They don't want to be intimidated by foreigners because they're coming in with their foreign language, no. So they want the foreigners to conform to their standards if they want to take out good out of them. So this is the entrance to the university. The building that side is the library. And this is a natural science building. It's a Department of Science and Environment this side. And when you go that side, that's the library. You know, the European people, to be specific, the Danish people, they love people who read. So they try by all means to give you the opportunity to read. And that's the student hub. And this is the building where students come to have a beer when they were stressed in class. Like every Thursday, students come here and hang around and enjoy a beer.
It's not Friday, Thursday?
No, Thursdays, yes. Yeah. And, okay, these are all like classes for different subjects. This is a biology, this is the biology lab. This is a natural science biology lab. And the bicycles you see here, you can rent a bicycle just to use within. They all belong to the university. So it's written Rook.
Okay.
Rook means Roskilde University.
But where you travel this bike? Around the campus?
Yeah, no, around Roskilde.
Okay.
Yeah, you can use them around Roskilde.
All right.
Yeah. They are meant for students actually.
So you don't borrow the bike and go straight to town?
Well, it's very far with the bicycle, but if you have the energy for that, I think it's okay. You can do that, but yeah. No, like I said. Okay, this is building 28. Is where you register if you want to do natural sciences. It's inside this building. Okay, yeah. So maybe we can just pass inside and look, have a look. Okay, maybe let's pass through the lab. This is the laboratory. Yes. This is where we do experiments. I'm okay. How's everything? Okay, I can see. Okay, enjoy your studies. Okay, bye-bye. Okay, so like if we need to go to, this is my area, but I want to take you to my class. So, and there's internet like everywhere in the corner of this. So you can study, research from any point. Yeah, that's why I love this place. You know, you can be, you want to sit in the toilet and research, yeah, it's up to you. Yes, and this is my group here in the pictures. The guys we started with. See? It's me here.
Were you?
Here at Roskilde, I'm studying molecular biology and biochemistry. But initially, when I applied to come here, I'd applied for a master in public health because I already have a bachelor degree from South Africa. So when I came here, they looked at my bachelor degree and some of the qualifications I have from my country. Then they told me that I don't qualify directly to go and do masters in public health. I need to redo some of the courses in my bachelor. So when I looked at the bachelor combinations which they had, looking at my background, so I had to go for molecular biology and biochemistry. So I'm not doing the whole bachelor degree, but I'm just doing part of the courses so that I can gain some points to do a master's, because a bachelor degree in Africa is not the same with the bachelor degree in the Western culture. Yeah. I cannot really explain in how many courses, but I'll just say they gave me like 1.5 years of redoing it, the bachelor. So in that 1.5 years, it will matter if I'll do all the courses that allows me to have the ECTs that they need for me to qualify for a master's. I have to do, there are many courses that I have to do, and some of them I don't really know them because they just come on the way. But as far as I know is like this semester, I'm doing environmental biology courses like Introduction to Ecosystems. I'm also doing biochemistry, biological chemistry, basics. Then I'm also doing a project in molecular biology, and this project is antibiotic resistant. And I'm also doing animal and plant physiology. But this is something that I've already done. A bachelor degree which I have from Africa, I've already done some of these courses, but they just want me to redo them. So that's it. And last semester, I also did the project in conservation of wild animals, and I also did, they are all natural biological sciences that I was doing. So like for the next semester, I'll continue doing all the courses that are under biochemistry and molecular biology until I finish. Yes, I'll just say, because I cannot mention them, all of them. Public health. Yeah, so when you do public health, they'll look at if you have got microbiology, okay, under your bachelor degree, because microbiology is part of it. They'll look at if you have got biochemistry. They also look at if you've got biology general, because public health has something to do with diseases in our environment. I would really want to use my knowledge in my country because I think that's where it's more needed. Because here they have everything, okay? All they just need is more people to help them raise tax money so that they can continue maintaining their developed world. But if I gain that knowledge, I would want to go and apply it in my country. Yeah, because that's why it's more needed, actually. But looking at the conditions in my country, maybe I may have problems to get a job, and I will get a job here. So, what's my choice? I need to pay my bills, I need to survive. So that will determine if I'll get a job back home. Yes, I'll want to work back home. It's brain gain. Yes, it's brain gain because the knowledge that I'll get here, I can apply it in any international institution, any international natural science institution all over the world, not only in Zambia, but there are other places also where they need natural scientists like me. It's like, for example, Mozambique, Angola, Zimbabwe, they need people who are educated in that area. And for me, being African, I have an advantage to have jobs in the surrounding areas. There are other parts of the continent which they are looking forward for change. So they look forward for international employees for change. They are looking for experts for change. And they like when they see that it's the African experts because they know that the African experts, they will at least conform to what they can afford to pay them. Though if they look at, if we bring a white person and we pay them $2,000 for example, as a salary, as an expert, no, a white, the conditions will be tougher. The whites, they will say no. But if we bring an African brother, he will say yes, because he can easily go to his home and visit them without much expense. Yeah, in that sense. It's people just to learn to live with what the few resources they have and try to develop them. See, because in Africa we have this mentality of searching for money. Money is not everything, because people run away. We are running away from our own countries to look for greener pastures. But of course, run for greener pastures and then at some point use the greener pastures maybe to fix your country if it's not well fixed. So the greediness is what is making actually people to run away from African countries, because they want to get richer and richer unnecessarily. You see, taking for example here in Europe, it's a rich country, but if you visit individual people, the way they live, they don't live a rich life. You understand what I'm saying? Yeah. So, but in Africa, we feel like living a rich life that's when we have development to our country. No, it's applying the knowledge that we gain around and use it. You see, every person can have something to sustain themselves. That's enough. And I've learned it here. Here I've seen well-educated people in Denmark, but they live a simple life. Just simple life. They have a small car, but you can find that everything they have, they're not crying that we cannot eat today. No, they don't need to have billions. They don't need to have 20 cars in the yard. No, they don't need to do that. Yeah.
This is what I would like to know.
Is accepting the little what we have and putting it to use in a positive way. Is the problem we have. Especially this generation of our fathers. So I'm just praying hard that if this generation can go away, we start to build a new system and it can work. World is evolving. Everything is changing. Technology is also changing. And if we look at adaptability, the youth, we are more adapted to the changing technology and we know how to apply it to enhance or manage our resources compared to them. Okay? Today, if I look at my child knows my child don't need to go to a computer school to learn how to use a computer. My child will learn how to use computer just by being at home with a computer. But our fathers, some they don't even know how to use a computer. So why should they think that they're the ones to develop the country? Maybe they should just be there as advisors in the corner. Yes, not like they are the ones who have, no, they don't have the knowledge anymore because a lot of things have changed actually.
So then...
let me just say a little bit. I will take myself as an example. Coming from an African environment where I did my schooling and coming into Denmark, I'm facing problems on the computer because I had to go to school to learn how to use the computer. But here I just realized that all the students here, especially the indigenous students, like Danish students, a computer is not something which is like you have to learn at school. Or for them, they know how to use it so fast and so quickly. While I'm busy struggling to do this, to find this, Excel, what? You see? So I can see that the younger generation, slowly, they are able to use the latest technology to enhance economical development compared to the elder. For now, we cannot do anything, but there's the policy which says that someone is allowed to be voted as a presidential candidate at the age of 35. So the young presidents we're going to have in the future will advise them to set up a policy that they need to have young youths also in the system to help control. Like in the official positions, the highest of official positions, they should not just be controlled by maybe individuals who are over 50 years. No. At least try by all means to employ also individuals who are still young. Yeah. That cannot just be done in one day, but it's something which needs to Probably, I think more youths must be empowered in terms of school. You know, they need to be educated. You know, if you look at Zambia, for example, 60% of the youths, they're unemployed. Okay. And among those 60% of the youths which are unemployed, maybe we would say 20% they have gone to school, but they cannot just find a job. And then the rest, 40%, they are uneducated. We can all go back and develop our country. Also, we should stop begging too much. Like, for example, if I have a master's degree, I don't necessarily need to be getting paid 20,000 or 10,000 US dollars a month. No, I can say, okay, I have a master's degree, fine. But since my country cannot afford to pay me the 10,000 US dollars a month, let's divide the 10,000 US dollars into 4 people, maybe 3 into 3, 3, 3. 3 people are getting paid within that 10,000 US dollars who are educated, and they're accepting the little resources and using them for positive things, you know. That's what I mean, yes. Because just because someone has a master's degree, we expect to be paid so high. Just because I'm a doctor, you expect them to give them a lot of money. No, that's not the case. Like the case here in Europe, I've seen individuals with master's degree, but they just live a normal life. They're not rich people, actually.
When you talk about normal life.
But as we think that when you go to, you gain an education, then it's a way to be rich. No. That's why we are running away now from our countries that they're not paying me a lot of money. I have a master's degree, so I run to Europe. But you're forgetting that the only difference is that the currency here in Europe is more stronger than the currency in your country. So at the end of the day, if we do ratio mathematics here, it's almost the same money. It's just that you are in a country where their currency is more stronger. So when you apply it in your country, it looks like you have a lot of money. But if you apply the same kind of money in that country, it's not going to take you anywhere. It's just, you're going to just be a normal person, you know. A doctor will run away from Zambia, for example, to come and work as a doctor in Denmark. Here in Denmark, you just live a normal life. Yeah. You're not going to be more special than any. No. It's the same thing. But it's because when they get that money, then they try to compare it to the currency in their homeland. They feel that they are making more money. Are you a Christian? Do you read the Bible? Jesus Christ said that a leader leads by example. If a president in Africa would say that, oh, for me, no more 6 Mercedes-Benz. For me, just a Toyota car and a bicycle is fine. As a leader, it demonstrates him going to work on a bicycle. How many people? Everybody will follow. Everyone will follow. Since the president goes to work on a bicycle, since the minister goes to work on a bicycle, who am I not to? That's how it goes. Now there's this thing of, if you look at, we have to be in a car because rich people move in cars, you see? So everybody, even the poor people, are busy there trying to copy that lifestyle of, they have to be in the car. As a result, they are spending more of their resources on luxurious things instead of applying it on developing their own land. It's because this comes. It's something which comes back from the colonial system. You know, it's like when we were being colonized by the white people. It's like we were servants. Okay, and we were seeing how the colonialists were living in our countries. So now, after we gained independence, we also want to live like the way the colonialists lived in our countries, which is not true. They exaggerated their life in our countries because it was not their country, so they were exaggerating. When they came back home, for example, when the English people left Zambia and they went back to England, they went into their small apartments. So, but us, we remained with that mentality that that's the life. You see? They only did that because they were taking advantage of our resources. But when it comes to their resources, they know how to manage them well.
But it's also one of the biggest problems that we've got in the continent. We don't know how to manage our resources.
Yeah, we don't know. We don't know how to manage our resources.
And how to do it.
Yeah, we don't know how to manage our resources.
We see like Congo, thousands of...
we don't know how to manage our resources.
So what's the way forward? What to do?
The way forward is, for me, I would really encourage more young people to come and study abroad if given an opportunity. Or not really coming to study abroad, more people from African countries to be sponsored to go to European countries just to learn about the culture and the system. Yeah, maybe that would be a little bit like cheaper. Like setting up youth programs whereby at least in every month you are sending them some youths out to go and learn how they manage their system here. So if that begins to sink in their mind, then we'll start changing our countries. If we start to also put taxes on luxurious things, owning a lot of things, like put restrictions to them, like when you are in the system, like leaders, if you want to be a leader, you have to really lead by example, whereby they have to be transparent to the people, you know, because there's no way one minister who's going out to inspect a road, if it was fixed or not, he has to carry 6 Land Cruisers on road. For example, a minister is traveling 1,000 kilometers to go and inspect a road. He has to carry 6 Land Cruisers, and he flies himself in he flies in the sky, okay? Already has spent money to fly, and then fuel in these Land Cruisers, which are empty, to go and accompanying him after 1,000 kilometers. How much money is that? Each Land Cruiser has to get a full tank of gas. Now there are 6 of them. And then on top of that, they have to carry journalists to go and pay them. Drivers, they have to be paid. Just to inspect a road, maybe a 1 kilometer road, if it was fixed. You see, such kind of, what do you call them?
Mismanagement?
Yeah, such kind of management of things is not okay. Why can't they just send one representative from the minister's office to go and inspect and come back and give a feedback? Yeah. If the minister is scared that he needs a lot of security around him, then send a representative and inspect the road and bring the feedback to them. Just one, that person, and save all these thousands of money of flying, putting in the cars, and save it and use it for development purposes. You know, like sometimes you learn from others, but we have learned the abnormal way. You see, we have learned and adapted things which were like to put on the jacket and suit. It's something Western, okay? Everybody in Africa who goes for work, even though it's very hot, they have to put on a jacket and tie because it's a, what do you call it? It's a formal dress code. But when I come here in Europe, I've seen PhD holders and master's holders coming for work, like lecturers. They are not in the jacket and ties. They dress relaxed according to the way they feel comfortable, provided they are able to do their work. But we've put up certain formalities in our countries which just lead us to distraction. I've been writing some letters. Maybe if I'm sick, I'm not coming for class, if I cannot do this. So when I write to them, because I was educated in Zambia, where we are told to say, you have to write dear madam or sir. They've all replied to me and said, don't call me sir, don't call me madam. Just call me, if I'm Jesper, I'm Jesper. If I'm Jacob, I'm Jacob. Address me by that. Dear Jacob. Today I'm sick, I'm not coming for work. Not dear sir. That, they don't want it. You know what? We should make things so simple that we focus on developing our countries, on not focusing on formalities. You have to go and spend a lot of money to buy a suit so that they can you can show yourself that you put. Now in Africa, there's even a competition of suits. See, I need the Italian suit. Why are you competing over suits? Get the money, feed the poor. You know, showing off in Western culture, you know, it was gangster. It's gangster. If you look at old movies, gangster, American gangster movies, you're going to see the dress code. They're the ones who are in those flashy jackets. Normally, it's that kind of lifestyle. It's people who want to hide what they do behind the closed door and look smart in front of the people when actually maybe they're drug dealers. So it's like a representation of, like, you have to be smart to hide the dirty work. Yeah, it's that. So those people like in Congo, is that what they're also doing? They look smart to hide their dirty work. So, and it has become part of the culture, you have to look smart. Yeah. But it's not, for me, you have to put on a jacket and a tie when you have a job which needs you to do that, like working in a bank, like an accountant, you know? Like you're representing a firm, like for example, firms like agent. You know, when you're an agent, for example, you want to sell someone's house. You cannot go there. You want to help someone to sell their house. You cannot go there looking a little bit like not yourself. You have to have a dress code so that people can trust you. That's how you need to use that kind of smartness, you see. It's just to create that formal attention, you see. Yeah. But it's not really necessary in a country like Africa where people need money to feed the hungry. I mean, how do you put on a jacket which is costing $1,000 when your own kids at home, maybe they are not even affording a $10 shoe? We lack education in Africa. That's it. We lack education. One, we lack education. Also, because of that, we don't understand the importance of conserving our environment. So, and we don't have the facilities to set up the recycling schemes because we have put our resources in wrong use.
What do you like about Europe and particularly Denmark?
Well, you know, the peace. The peace. I love the peace in Denmark. I love the fact that there are no diseases here in Denmark. And as I'm a biologist, I've studied that this human body, it functions well to its ability when it is having no disease. Yes. So the rate of functioning and thinking is enhanced when the body is perfect. But in other countries with full of diseases, we all work under, you know, It's like there's some inability in the way the mechanism of the biological functioning of the body. That's why when you are sick, how do you feel when you are sick? You feel like sleeping, right? Mm-hmm. Because something is dragging down the performance of your system. Yeah, that's what I like about Denmark too. And the mentality of the people here in Denmark, you see, they care about their environment, and they're united. If they say we don't want to be seeing trash on the ground, it doesn't need a person who works for the council to come and tell you that why are you throwing trash on the ground? No, it takes every individual of the community to realize that what you're doing is not okay. But in our country, if we see somebody is throwing trash, we will be looking around, where are the council workers so that they can come and tell that guy to remove that trash? You see? That's how we are. We are irresponsible of our own place back in our country. But here, people are responsible. So you also learn, you develop that positive attitude of being responsible about yourself. Yes. And people here work hard. And also, I think you told me why I like so much about being here. I think most importantly is the peace. Yeah, there's the peace. You know, that peace. You're just peaceful.
What about the Danish food? Did you had a chance to eat typical Danish food? Or you cook yourself?
Yes, I do eat. I do eat Danish food, and Danish food is very nice. Mostly, the bread which they make in Denmark actually is excellent. The bread, they've got different varieties of bread. Yeah, I will not take that away from them. They beat, yeah. But the thing is, when it comes to other kind of food, it's less tasty. Yeah, like for example, the way they process the meats, you know, sometimes they make it lose a lot of taste. Yeah, compared to our meat in my country, yeah. But the daily products like milk, cheese, is the best. Mm-hmm.
What about the music?
When it comes to music, Danish people are boring, frankly speaking, because one thing is they like good quality music equipment, you know. They like the quality ones, they just to put in the house and then be looking at it. And then when you want to play sound on it, they'll say, you're making noise. Everywhere you go, it's like that. But one thing is they like to acquire the expensive equipments for music. And then if you look at their music industry also, they don't have a lot of musicians who are like making it big internationally. There are few of them. It's because of that problem. They're not so much into music. That's what I've observed. Other neighboring countries, they are doing better also. They have more musicians, like Sweden, for example. It has produced more international musicians than Denmark. Some people don't even know these international musicians from Denmark, that they're from Denmark. Yeah, a lot of people don't know. When you just tell them that, that's Danish, I don't know. They think that everyone is American. Yeah, but they have a few, but they have not really developed their music industry. No. Not so much.
I know you are a biologist, but what do you think about the Danish architecture?
Oh, wow. It's excellent. But the Danish architecture, if you look at the history, the European history, it was, I think mainly it originated from the Dutch people. You know, they are the ones who are like controlling it, who had it, and then a lot of you they had to spread it around. But I think it's excellent. That I will not take away from them. Just generally, in short, the European architecture is excellent. I will not only say Danish architecture. Because it's all the same everywhere you go here in Europe, you know. It's almost the same. It's different a little bit, but it's almost the same. It's excellent. You know, they have the equipment which helps them also.